My name is Mike Yates, and I'm the Director of Blue Water Navy Section of Military Veterans Advocacy. This video is being made in hopes of providing a better understanding on how I validate deck logs for our members. Now, I am going to show you first how it is done manually with Google Earth. I will warn you that the line shown in the Territorial Seas is not 100% correct. Now, for our members, I will do the plotting for free. If you are not a member, we do offer a plan where we charge $50 for the research, but this does not include any dead reckoning. Also, one more point, we will only provide 1 day from a deck log. I have to say I do not do the plots the same way others do by manually entering the latitude and longitude in Google Earth. I use a professional program called Coastal Explorer. Now, even with that, I do not enter the data by hand. I have created a program that allows me to do anywhere from 1 day to more than a month or even more than one ship during the plotting. I enter the data into this program and then it creates a file for me to open in Coastal Explorer. First, I'm going to quickly show you how you can do this within Google Earth. I would suggest creating place marks for all 3 times, the 0800, the 1200, and the 2000. This will allow you to pick a location that's closest to the shoreline. You will notice that the 0800 place mark is between the Territorial Seas and the Vietnam Service Line. The 1200 place mark is within the Territorial Seas, and the 2000 is outside the Vietnam Service Line. Now I'm going to show you how I do it in Coastal Explorer. But this time, instead of doing just 1 day, I will be doing 11 days that I've identified while checking a deck log for a month that I feel may be within the Territorial Seas. On this image, it shows you the location of some of the important locations that you need to know about. These are the Vietnam Service Medal Line, the Territorial Sea Line, Demarcation Line, Yankee Station, and Dixie Station. An important note, both Yankee Station and Dixie Station are outside the Territorial Sea. If you need more information about these important locations, I have created a video called BWN Vietnam Lines 2 that is also on YouTube. Here's the program I wrote. It is actually a macro built within Excel. On this image is the spreadsheet I create. You will notice that the columns are labeled name, time, date, status, used for notes, latitude, and longitude. I start by filling out the ship's name, the time, the date, latitude, and longitude. The status and used for notes are not filled in. I may use them later. I do this by entering the date and the 0800, the 1200, and 2000 latitudes and longitude that's listed in the deck logs onto the spreadsheet. I will only do this for the latitudes and longitudes that I am guessing are within the Territorial Seas. I have created a special chart for my use that lists the latitudes and longitudes around Vietnam that shows the Territorial Sea limits. Once I have my spreadsheet filled out, I will run my macro and it will create a file for me. I will demonstrate this. This is in real time. You will notice now that the status column has the word done in it. That tells me that the conversion is done. After my macro is done, it has created a file for me. I will then take and import it into Coastal Explorer. Once I do this, it will provide me with a plot showing where the ship was at different times of the day. You will see the results of the plot here. This was not only tell me if the ship was within the Territorial Seas, but will give me an idea if the ship was not within the Territorial Sea, but was close enough to the line where I should do a dead reckoning on it or not. On this image, you will see the results of the plot. You will notice the blue line. On the blue line will be black dots. These black dots are the plotted locations. Most of them are between the shoreline and the Territorial Sea, but a few we need to talk about. Here is a close-up look of the plot. There are 3 dots on the right side that are definitely outside the Territorial Sea. I've labeled them. There are 2 dots on the left side that are showing up on land. As far as I know, the ship doesn't have wheels, so it can't travel on land. The reason for this is more than likely that the officer of the deck made a mistake when entering longitude. Also on the right side, you'll see a line that crosses the land. Remember that between the 2 dots, a ship may not have gone in a straight line. The program is only going to connect the 2 dots. Now I'll explain where we get the latitude and longitudes from the deck log. On this image is a page from the deck log. In most deck logs, the location is listed at the top, usually it'll say 0800, 1200, and 2000. In some cases, the location won't be there. It'll be blank. It may say in port. It may say anchored, or in other cases, it'll say special ops. In some deck logs, it could be on the right side of the page or even on a different page. Therefore, it is very important to actually read the narrative to see if it gives you more information. The narrative will tell you if the ship docked anchor and where. In some cases, you will find latitude and longitudes where the ship is at, and it could differ from what's above. There is other information, and it gets sometimes hard to read, like reading about the fire on the Enterprise. At this point, I can then validate the information, and I will create a personal letter for you. It will have the ship's name, the date, the time, and your name on the letter. It will give some information about my qualifications, and I date and sign it. In some cases, there also is a Combat Naval Gunfire Support File, a CONGA. If I cannot find a deck log, I may end up sending the CONGA file. It can also be used. If no deck log is found, then no plot can be given. The CONGA report shown here is not for the same date as the deck log. I just wanted to show you an example. I will then send you a copy of the letter, copy of the deck log, and if possible, a copy of the plot, and in some cases I will include a Combat Naval Gunfire Support File, CONGA, that can be used. I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope it helps you better understand the use of deck logs or combat gunfire support files for use with your claim. For members, we do this research for you. If you are not a member and want us to do the research, we will be happy to do so at the cost of $50 for the research. For that, you get a letter, a copy of the page of the deck log, and a plot if available. If you are not a member, I would encourage you to join. The cost is $25 a year. I want to remind you that none of the leadership of Military Veterans Advocacy receive any pay for the work we do. We are all volunteers. Please check our website and Facebook pages. If you have any questions, you can email me at commander@bluewaternavy.org. Thank you.